freewheeling cavalcade of circular motion, thus defined by the octagon table of double-wide mental introspection and dedicated utilitarian outward thinking in defense of zero content. Translation: we ain't got nothing. Hey folks, dude here, coming back yet again, and I'm now actually at the home base, so hopefully everything's not completely, like, way too echoey and all the rest of that fun stuff, and hopefully it doesn't sound too terribly, well, bad. So anyway, we're going to move out smartly. Hopefully everything's going to be good in that regard, and we don't do stuff that is just, going into the...
No-no zone. No-no zone. No-no zone.
Okay, we're gonna definitely try to not go into the no zone. All right, no zone if we can possibly avoid it, and we'll move out smartly. Good stuff like that there. Barry Kayson and Patriot Fever in the room. Very, very cool. Okay, got you guys going on yet again. Hang on one second here. Let me just find something really fast, and I'm trying to work on something here. Hopefully that's where that one went. Okay. Anyway, basically just working on some new stuff. And Sound Guy has been Sound Guy's been collecting sounds. Unfortunately for him, yeah, that one didn't work so good. Sound Guy, what did you do to yourself? I mean, that was really potentially, yeah, you went entirely into the
No-no zone.
yeah. So sound Guy's collecting sounds, and some of them sound more than a little bit. sound a little bit. No, it was not alien beam up. Okay,
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
I think we're good, Sound Guy. You're not needing alien beam ups or.
I say we take off and nuke the entire
No-no zone.
from orbit.
Okay, well, first off, you don't nuke the entire no zone.
I say we take off and nuke the entire bitch from orbit.
I got the pause button here, okay? And enough of the annoying knees, or should we say Didney? The annoying Didney music. That way they can't claim any kind of copyright stuff on it.
Automatic defense procedures initiated.
Sound Guy, no.
No. No. Hell no. No. I refuse. No.
I don't even know what he was doing, but he did it to himself, and you know what? I didn't feel a thing. It didn't hurt me in the slightest. All right, so let me get queued up on my storylines here. Literally what I'll do is I'll just post things up on Facebook, and I'll go back and reference them later on. I'll use it kind of like my storyline. Other stuff that I tend to post up. Orange, what are we doing? Anyway, I've been finding some very interesting pictures, and Mrs. Dude has been like, no, stop with the girls' butt pictures on, basically I'm finding like women in bathing suits and stuff. And she's like, you're being raunchy. So I've had to curtail that type of picture posting. Anyway, so scroll. Scroll. Okay, here we go. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but supposedly our beloved leader.
No-no zone.
Oh yeah, he's definitely in the no zone. We're talking about our leader, President. Could you say it is no. Yeah, President Kaka. So President yeah, President Kaka. You didn't allow the fart at the end, okay? You didn't allow the fart. So we're now going to be dealing with the fact that obviously they're now speaking about more of the, well, I can talk about it openly now because it's been pretty much placed out in the, the standard zeitgeist. We can talk about COVID and not sound guy. We're not talking about monkey feces, okay? We're talking about the, well, you know it, you love it, and the entirely disgusting fact therein of the, well, the
Fact check.
well, no. We won't be dealing with that any longer because it's now been made completely public that you now can speak openly about the
Chinese Communist COVID viral infection.
and even the
Claw shots.
without worrying about the
Fact check.
fuckers. That one I can definitely say. All right, so it's coming in from truthpress.com. Joe Kaka plans to ask Congress for funding to develop a new form of the fucking clot shot. Anyway, so basically what we got going on here is Joe Kaka is trying to come up with an excuse to stick people more full of the
Chinese Communist COVID viral infection.
oh, you pulled that one out of your ass there, sound guy. We haven't used the 44 Magnum shot in a long time. Anyway, so basically, Joe Kaka is asking for funding, and he may require the shot for all. Well, last time I heard, you can't mandate somebody receiving a technically experimental vaccine. So, nice try. Roll the bones. Don't think it's going to happen. You know what? I see in the background. You know what? Give me 1 second here. Give me my lead. Haven't had one of these in a while. Come here. That's right. Be having the next generation of throwback. Haven't had one of these on camera in a long time. So, I feel the need. I need for speed. So, I commend it to you, to opposite companions, all the good stuff like that there. If you have a beverage, hoist it up now and cheers. Patriot Reviewer in the room says, is that because the real facts are coming about? Well, no, I think what it is actually that, anytime something looks bad for, well, President Kaka, no, sound guy, I wasn't going to say that, okay? President Kaka, seems that they always tend to go, hey, it's time to throw something else at Trump. Anyway, so it now comes out to be that they have to draw attention away from Kaka because Kaka's got problems and Kaka is looking more than a little bit like Kaka. And every time he tries to say anything in defense, the audience is just critical. Stop. No, they're just not believing him. And trust me, folks, I have got some news stories coming up about Joe Kaka that are going to just freaking floor you, man. It's beyond the pale. Completely how insensitive this pile of how do we say this without saying this? No. Ding's not going to do it, sound guy. No, Ding is not going to do it. How do we say it without saying it? This big stinking pile of okay, I'll allow that one. Monkey feces. Yeah, perfect. Yep. I like that one rather a lot. So basically, Kaka is trying to ask for, he said on Friday he's got plans for additional funding from Congress for development of a new COVID-19 vaccine, adding it may require everyone to take it whether they previously received a vaccine or not. To which I say, and I've been posting most, clearly, hashtag pureblood. You're not sticking that, Sierra Hotel India Tango stuff into me. That is not happening. Biden, who was vacationing in the Lake Tahoe area, was asked by a reporter on Friday if he could say anything about the uptick of COVID cases and the new variant. Yes, I can, the president said. I signed off this morning on a proposal we have to present to Congress a request for additional funding for a new vaccine that's necessary that works. Yeah. Tentatively, it is recommended, likely be recommended. Everybody gets it no matter whether they've gotten it before or not. You know what, dude? There's such a thing as natural immunity, and you're not giving it to me, okay? You're not giving it to me. I don't care what it's going to take, what you're going to say about it, but if you say some stupid stuff like, well, if you don't get it, you won't be able to take cruises. Haven't been on a boat in a number of years, folks. Oh, you can't fly. Haven't been on a plane in a number of years, folks. Oh, you won't be able to do these things. Guess what? If I drive 2 tanks of fuel, I'm in Florida. If I drive potentially northbound, I'm in a whole bunch of different places. I'm not too terribly worried about you cutting off my air travel or cutting off the fact that I simply can't get on a cruise ship. Because guess what? There's other things to do all around this whole big place called the United States. Patriot Fever, can I use my primitive delivery system for the COVID vaccine? I wonder how that one works. Would it be just simply
Come on, squeal.
no.
You sick little monkey.
Doesn't sound like the monkey really enjoyed that injection much. I would say probably, though, it was what's known in the business as a primitive enema. Okay, and enough of that one. I hit the stop button. Jeez. Monkey was not liking that one. Potentially could be said that, well, there was some rubber burning. Wrong kind of. Never mind. I sometimes it's really not a good thing to further these processes that the sound guy contingent of the House seems to bring about, and there'll be a reckoning sometime. Really. I mean, he's really digging deep here. Anyway, so yeah, he's thinking about vacationing, this, that, and the other thing. I'm going to try this, that, and the other thing. And you know what? I think most people now have actually gotten to the point where they're saying, you know what? I'm thinking for myself. I really don't have to use this crap. I'm not doing it. Scroll. But the thing about it is there's even people coming out of the, ethers, and they're putting brakes on it, and they're telling people that's bad stuff. And it's come out now that, well, there is people who are actually actively telling you the behind the scenes stuff that the government is actually trying to hide. Mostly because of simple liability. And if you're an active duty member of the military, you're screwed. I mean, if they tell you to do something, you're going to do it. You're going to say, well, that's par for the course. And, yeah, I'm not going to stop doing what I'm doing because, I signed up for this. So I am what I am. Sound guy, no. Well, maybe Ada didn't agree with him. Anyway, there's truthpress.com. A whistleblower disclosed myocarditis spike in the military after the COVID vaccine rolled out, and he goes public. A service member, so apparently they're staying anonymous, a service member earlier this year blew the whistle and disclosed data from the Pentagon, their medical database, showing a spike in the rate of myocarditis in the military in 2021 after the rollout of the COVID-19 vaccines is going public. This whistleblower is an active duty Navy Medical Service Corps officer, Lieutenant Ted Macy. So I guess he did go public. He also revealed new data showing a substantial rise in accidents, assaults, self-harm, and suicide attempts in the military in 2021 compared to the average from 2016 to 2021. So 5-year period. This includes a 147% increase in intentional self-harm incidents among service members and an 828% increase in injuries from assaults. Lieutenant Macy told the Epic Times that he was, quote, he began, quote, keeping an eye on, end quote, a defense medical database in which another whistleblower alerted him to the rise of health-related incidents in the winter of 2021 to 2022. The Defense Medical Epidemiology Database, or the DMED, is a depository of all diagnoses recorded using the International Classification of Diseases, or the ICD codes. When an active service member is seen on or off base by a military civilian provider, the database does not include a personally identifiable information of service members. In January, Lieutenant Macy and his wife traveled to Washington with a report of data he collected from the DMED. It shows diagnoses of myocarditis, a form of heart inflammation, jumped to 130.5% in 2021 compared to the average of the years 2016 to 2020. Myocarditis is a severe condition that can lead to death. All 4 of the COVID-19 vaccines authorized in the United States can cause myocarditis, according to U.S. officials. COVID-19 can also cause myocarditis, although some experts say the data on that front is weaker. Just give me 1 second, folks. U.S. Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin mandated the vaccines in 2021, a requirement that remained in place until Congress forced its withdrawal in late 2022. The data showed spikes in diagnoses of pulmonary embolism, 41.2%, blood clots in the lungs, ovarian dysfunction, 38.2%, and, quote, complications and ill-defined descriptions of heart disease, end quote, 37.7%. Lieutenant Macy downloaded the data almost a year after the Pentagon said it fixed the data corruption issue with the DMED. Yeah, the data corruption issue is they're trying to hide this stuff. Yeah, just give me a second. Oh, Pedro Fever, I know what you're saying now about your primitive injection method. Scrolly. In 2022, other military whistleblowers reported shocking spikes in disease rates after the introduction of the COVID-19 vaccine. But the Pentagon responded that those figures are not correct because some diagnoses in the years 2016 to 2020 had not been counted in issues stemming from, quote, unquote, corrupt data. After the Pentagon said the issue was corrected, Lieutenant Macy and others, including First Lieutenant Mark Brashaw, a preventative medicine officer in the Army, Navy Lieutenant Billy Mosley, Army Sergeant Lieutenant Colonel Teresa Long, and Army Doctor Major Samuel Sigaloff, noticed that there are still concerning signs of increase in diagnoses such as myocarditis and pulmonary embolisms. That's basically like clots in your lungs. Since word spread that Lieutenant Macy was the only active duty member of the command who didn't receive a COVID-19 vaccine and was actively suing the Secretary of Defense, Lieutenant Macy said the people began to come to him in confidence, telling him about the adverse reactions, and they were convinced they were from, quote, the shot, end quote, he said. These are anecdotal, quote, but they're compelling personal injuries and a motivator to get things on the right track, end quote. After verifying Lieutenant Macy's report with Senate Subcommittee on Investigations, Senator Ron Johnson, Republican Wisconsin, top Republican on panel, sent a letter, PDF, it's a hypertext actually, to Mr. Austin in March asking the Pentagon to confirm Lieutenant Macy's data. Lieutenant Macy suspected the Pentagon would not respond based on his experience with previous requests made within the department going unfulfilled. Quote, in the event our suspicions are correct, I kept additional data to reveal as soon as the data brought to Washington was confirmed or being ignored for some time, he said. Much to my surprise, said Lieutenant Macy, the Pentagon in a July report to Mr. Johnson's letter confirmed that his data was accurate. Oops. The government actually saying something is real that they actually screwed up? Shocking. In the Pentagon's response, Gilbert Cisneros Jr., the Undersecretary of Defense for Personnel and Readiness, pointed to the data on the rate of cases per 100,000 persons years, a way to measure risk across a certain period of time. For almost all the conditions that showed an increase in the cases in 2021, he stated, the new case rate was higher for service members with prior COVID-19 infection than those with prior COVID-19 vaccination. This suggests that more than likely the COVID-19 infection and not the COVID-19 vaccine was the cause, Mr. Cisneros said. He is a lying sack of just no, sound guy. No, he's a lying sack of yeah, it's pretty easy to see. No, sound guy. No, he's worse than that. Okay, yeah, I'll allow that one. So he's a lying sack of. Are you done? Anyway. Ew. Anyway, sound guy. Sound guy. Are you done? He might be done. So basically, he brings the new data to Office of Representative Matt Gaetz, representative in Florida, Republican, hoping to get the attention of the House Armed Services Committee, a panel Mr. Gaetz sits on. Lieutenant Macy is not aware of Mr. Gaetz and his staff will do, but the lawmaker's office acknowledged in June that they will, quote, they will look, end quote. He said, Epic Times has reached out to Mr. Gaetz' office for comment. This is bad stuff, and it's a small audience too, folks, because if you think about the standard military, it's under 6 million people. So that's a small audience of the country the size of 330 million. It's pretty easy to track that one. Just give me 1 second. This one, it's absolutely brilliant. And I cannot begin to tell you how funny I think this one is, but Trump, in his infinite wisdom, being the financial wizard that he is with financial, real estate type stuff, he actually undercut the guys trying to play games in Georgia and other places. Why? Well, because he, quote unquote, sold Mar-a-Lago to protect his assets before his arrest. He saw the writing on the wall, folks, and he decided to take preemptive action. This one coming in from PatriotAlerts.com. So former President Donald John Trump reportedly, quote-unquote, sold his iconic Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida mere weeks before his arrest in Fulton County, Georgia. The estate, which has been a backdrop for numerous political meetings and events during Trump's presidency, has sold for a staggering $422 million as per Zillow's records. However, the sale is as straightforward as it seems. While the initial reports suggested a sale, further investigation reveals the estate was not sold in the traditional sense. Instead, it was transferred to Trump's eldest son, Donald Trump Jr. Zillow's data confirms the sale took place on August 4th, 2023. However, the buyer's identity remained undisclosed on the platform. Digging deeper into transactions, Sunbiz, a website known for its detailed business records, reported that the current owner of Mar-a-Lago is now Mar-a-Lago Incorporated. This company is not notably owned by Donald Trump Jr., indicating a strategic transfer rather than a conventional sale. Newsweek further corroborated the information, stating, while Zillow does not provide details about who bought the property, the website Sunbiz said the current owner of Mar-a-Lago is a company called Mar-a-Lago Inc., owned by the former president's eldest son. The timing and nature of this transfer has led to widespread speculation. Some believe it's a brilliant move by the former president to shield his assets amid legal challenges. Yeah, you can't take away something from somebody that they don't have anymore. So him giving it to his kid still allows him to have full use of it. His kid basically gets the thing without having to go through all the wills and all the rest of that happy horse stuff. And also, technically, it's been transferred, so Georgia can't do squat to him in terms of that nice little piece of cake they'd love to get their fingers on if they try to stick him with something along the lines of liability. But Trump purchased Mar-a-Lago in 1985. Over time, he turned it into a private club with both resort amenities for members and private quarters for his family. He frequently visited Mar-a-Lago, referred to it as the, quote, Winter White House. The property became a hub for political meetings, official events, and social gatherings during his term. Well, also it's notable for the fact that he found out that Epstein was doing something untoward there, and he kicked his ass off the property. So that whole thing about like, well, Trump basically is this, that, the other thing, he's sexist and blah, 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 and all the rest of this. No, the guy that was actually doing the creepy stuff got his ass kicked off the property. One of Trump's indictment details various locations of Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida where Trump allegedly stored classified documents, including the ballroom, a bathroom, and a shower, an office space, his bedroom, and a storage room. The investigation began last year when National Archives alerted the FBI about the government documents returned by Trump that were marked classified. Trump and his allies have labeled the documents were politically motivated, pointing out he was treated unfairly compared to Joe Biden. Well, yeah, but there's been whole times where former presidents have had paperwork, it's been secured, and he's the guy that basically says whether something's secured, unsecured, or is not secret any longer. Well, also, if you want to really truly get down for the fact, Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden had secure documents, and neither of those were the president who can make items secure or unsecure on his say-so. They were ranked functionaries at best. A vice president is not the president. That is not the guy who can do the stuff that he says they can do. And also, Hillary having her 30,000 plus emails and all the Blackberries and all the, the bleach bit and all the rest of that fun stuff that she did to hide the information while having an open server that anybody could access at any time and look at secure documents. Those people were guilty of these things before, way before you ever thought to pick on Donald John Trump and go, oh yeah, Trump had stuff he shouldn't have had. Yeah, Patriot Fever. Talk about a middle finger without a middle finger. Transferred Mar-a-Lago. I think it's an absolutely brilliant move. I forget what his purchase price was. I mean, it was originally let me just do something real quick and dirty here. This is gonna be one where I really gotta cheat. Hang on a second here. Yeah, and there's also like Mar-a-Lago Club Incorporated. So that's obviously the one that, Trump Jr. has. But let me do something real simple, stupid here. Trump bought it for $2 million. Wow. Yeah. Wow. $2 million back in 95, and now he basically is like, run the price up on the thing. So anyway, that's basically what he's got going on there. Is he basically transferred it over to his kids, so Georgia can't do squat, and brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. I think you guys heard about this one or not, but this is kind of one of those things that really you should have practiced up. Okay, this is going to be one of those really. You probably should just have one of these things have handy. I mean, if you look over my shoulder, obviously you can't see it because I have, the flag in the way, but behind the flag is my yellow gig bag. Now I refer to that as my gig bag because literally that's the knapsack that I grab, backpack that I grab whenever I do, like a music gig and I'm working with the band I work with. But there's also some other stuff in it that most people wouldn't think to have. I don't have like a lot of these things, but I have enough stuff to carry me over. Spare underwear, spare socks, spare shirt, some food, obviously a lighting device, obviously, backup devices that can run a phone for an extended period. Obviously, I do have a Wi-Fi hub in there. I have a spare tablet in there. I have spare glasses in there. I have, fire making stuff. Technology-wise, it's pretty much good to go. Secondarily, the dog's going nuts here because Mrs. Dude just got home. So, so anyway, the gig bag is basically a just in case. Well, complementing that in the back of the Dude Mobile is what I refer to as my OS hit bag. We're like, I'm doing like an Uber run and somebody gets sick in the vehicle and then need to make a cleanup. I have my OS hit bag. The last word, put the S and the hit together. Yeah, it's when the O, it's when the OS hits the fan. Kind of one of those deals. So basically, it's a cleanup kit, but compromising that, there's some stuff in here that actually could be like survival goods. There's a couple of knives in there. No food per se, but there is actually some medical gear. There's a first aid kit, EMT gloves, just in case type stuff where I come on, accident scene and I don't want to plunge my hands into somebody else's bodily fluids. I have that just in case. Am I a trained medic? No. But if I'm the guy there, dude's basically, not doing so good, and I got to pop open a trachea so dude can breathe, I could do that. I know how to do that. Would I really want to do that? No. But if dude's gagging out in front of me and he's got X amount of time to do it, and the fire department's nowhere to be seen, they got a 5-minute response time. Brain death happens in 6 minutes. He's been laying out doing the can't breathe thing for how long? How long does he have? You come to the point of diminishing returns versus saving the guy's butt. You kind of have to pick and choose on that one. But anyway, jumping here to this article. This one is from ammoland.com, and this is lessons from Maui and a host of other disasters. The lessons from Maui and other host of disasters. The naive tendency for most people to assume, quote, technology will beat nature is ultimately fatal. What happens when high winds beat power lines and trees? You get Maui. You get Lahaina, where the thing basically just lights off. 2, the naive assumption that I could always call 911, somebody will come immediately take care of me, will invariably prove a foolish pipe dream. Mostly because the first thing that happens is the roads go to crap. Everything else tends to go to hell. Water gets knocked out. Power gets knocked out. That's not really so good. Basically, emergency services, if you can find them in the first place, are few and far in between when things really, really, really get bad. 3, what we call quote-unquote society unfairly reveals itself as a thin veneer, delusionary mirage when exposed to the heat of a stark reality. This I refer to as the biddy feeder. Yeah, these are 22s. Okay, so these fit in the Smith & Wesson 6.17 8 3/8 weapon that I have. And usually that is around near me. Mostly because, it's a big honking pistol. It looks very, very scary. Also, the other thing, too, is also 22. If you're basically squeezing off a few of these things in, T-zone, they're not going to have a really, really good day. So I tend to think 22, close up and personal, less penetration. If I overshoot, it's going to stop in the ground. It's not going to go bing and keep going through my neighbors' houses and whatnot. And also, if I'm going to be hitting somebody, I'm going to be hitting them at an angle down. That's the first thing I want to do is go shoot down. So going back to the article here, be prepared for the best chance of, be prepared to stand the best chance of ultimate victory. Empty store shelves, closed gas stations, non-functional phones, inaccessible internet, unpassable roads, poorly maintained personal vehicles, no power, along with widespread lawlessness will combine to destroy the unprepared. Okay, if you don't have at least a half a tank in your car right now, you are living the life of folly. Because if nothing else, you have to know the range of your vehicle. I know for a fact, and I actually ran it back from, the vacation location, half a tank of fuel. I know for a fact I could make it from there to my house, which was not a short trip. I mean, bumping the phones. It was not a short trip, but I knew for a fact, even fully loaded with all the gear from everybody else, because Mrs. Dude ran passengers, I ran the stuff, and I knew for a fact, by basically knowing the distance, could I make it back, and would there be some squish? Yeah, there was. I literally ran it back with a half a tank of gas, knew the distances involved, and even your distance to empty still read like 14 gallons. Well, that's squishy, okay? When it says, oh no, it's on the line, you're almost out of gas. You're not almost out of gas. You probably have about another 2 gallons left in the tank. And if you know the range of your vehicle, that's probably somewhere in the order of another 20 to 30, maybe even 40 miles range before you are dead duck dry. So potentially I could have still gone another 60 miles, potentially. Because I know for a fact, if I'm on the cruise and I'm keeping my foot out of it, I could get low 20s, almost 24 miles. I've almost touched 25 miles to the gallon in an SUV. As long as you keep your foot out of it, you're not running the AC. And obviously, you're driving conservatively. You're not pell-melling down the roadway because that's where you're blowing our fuel out. If you find a good cruise speed where you find your maximum MPG, that's what you lock your cruise control on. Patriot Fever. That's great. So you measure in gallons per mile. 454 with 410 rear. Yeah, that's basically like a drag strip truck because it's like first, second, third, fourth, and you're doing like 60 miles an hour, just going tons of torque, tons of ready to pull it out of everything. But it's just dude, you need a gear vendor's overdrive. You need a gear vendor's overdrive. Okay, if nothing else, wear and tear, and basically the fact that you're basically just going and screaming down the roadway. All right. 5. Don't ask for permission to make critical decisions. Take decisive, life-saving actions. In Maui, many admit they saw nearby smoke and flames, but assumed they could ignore the obvious evidence because there was no warning sirens. No public officials were warning them or advising them to evacuate. Funny thing about public officials, they, along with the most vaunted plans, fail completely along with the predicted respond with a study. This guy's kind of like, drawing around the edges, but if you don't have like basic preparedness, I mean, if nothing else, if you don't have at least 2 weeks worth of food in your house, water, which, I got like half a case over there. Yeah, I got like half a case over there, but we fill it up fairly regularly. I mean, I at least got 3 to 4 days worth of drinking water minimum over there, plus other stuff to drink. The very, kind of not unsqueamish part about it is if you go in the back of your toilet, you have 3 to 5 gallons in that tank. It's clean drinking water. I mean, it basically gets cycled all the time. I mean, the water that's underneath, you don't want to drink. Obviously, if you have one of those blue things in your tank that's kind of scenting the water and coloring the water and cleaning the bowl, that's obviously water you don't want to drink. Don't put one of those things in your upper tank. That's just stupid stuff. And you're denying you the fact that you actually have so much drinking water available there right now. If things really, really, really go wrong, if you think about it, your hot water heater is a big honking tank of drinking water. I mean, for a fact, I got a 75-gallon hot water heater. Is it still 75 gallons after 7 or 8 years? Well, that's probably lost somewhat scale and whatnot. But there's a tap on the bottom of the hot water heater. Now, the best thing you can do is when things start going really, really wrong and you notice water supply is getting weird, go downstairs, turn off your main water. Don't let anything ingress into your house that's going to crap up your water supply. That water tank that's now down in your basement is full. All the pipes in your house are still full of water. If you crack that tap on the hot water heater and you crack the faucet on the highest part of your house, you now have basically nothing that's going to create vacuum to not allow water to come out of that hot water heater. And you have potentially whatever the amount is in the hot water heater plus the pipes. So all that stuff is always in your house as potable drinking water. But the thing about it is you have to remember, if you leave the tap open and you start getting crud down the pipes, all your water's contaminated. So if anything starts going really, really sketch, pull yourself off the circuit. Turn off your main water supply. If things get really, really weird, turn off all the pilots and all your gas devices. Turn off your gas. That way, when gas goes down and comes right back up, your house is not going to fill up with all the pilots going, I'm trying to light, but nothing's happening. Don't do that to yourself. One of the most best explosions on the planet, you can see the videos all over the internet, is a fuel air explosion. Oh, my stars and garters. You normally see a house just go poof. I mean, glorious fireball, and it's like matchsticks or what's left of the house as it just goes poof. Don't do that. Pedro Fever, I was told lots of beer, coffee, and throwback natural fire extinguisher. Oh. Oh. Well, that's if you fill the tank first. It's kind of like the old CO2 fire extinguishers. You basically flip it over, give it a quick shake, and it's like the water solution mixes up with the baking soda. Then you can squirt the water out. You would be potentially the fire extinguisher at that point, but you're gonna have to drink a lot. So anyway, this guy's basically showing a gear bag, a just in case bag, SHTF, get home bag, whatever you wish to call it. Have one of these things, at the very least, have one of these bags riding in the back of your car at all times. Have some food that can stand being, cooked or frozen or whatnot, and can be eaten without preparation. If you want to go really wild and crazy, obviously, put in some the Mountain House bags, where if you have a source of obviously some means of heating water, you can heat water, melt snow, dump it in there. You then got a hot meal. I got an orange. And all that stuff can come into play to save your bacon in the worst of times. It's Mr. Orange. Apparently he wants attention because I haven't been home for, a week. So now he's making up for lost time. And of course I'm wearing dark clothing, so he has to leave his mark. Right? Yeah, you got to leave your mark. Okay. Hop up. Thank you. But yeah, definitely have that type of stuff hanging out. And it really, truly can make your life so much easier. If nothing else, just think strategy. Do you really want to drive around with, no gas in the tank and then go, oh, snap, things are going really, really wrong? Then you go to the gas station and go, oh, crap, everybody has no power and none of the gas pumps will work. A couple winters ago, we had one of the neighbors who was from New England, and she was having like an absolute blast because she was out there with her snowblower, and she said, "Hey, I'll clean up your driveway, I'll clean up your sidewalk, I'll blow all the snow off, da 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 da. The only thing I'm asking for is just go get some gas to fill me back up when I'm done doing whatever." So I was like, "Okay, cool, great, yeah, whatever. Okay, so I'll go out and get some gas." So I got my, I believe it was a 5-gallon. I think I got a 5-gallon, couple 5-gallon gas cans. So I go out, hit the one gas station that's near me. No more regular gas. Hit the next gas station. No more regular gas. There's 3 gas stations within 5 minutes of my house, easily. All of them were out of regular gas. At that point, I was like, you know what? I'll simply just get mid-grade. That's gone. What did they have left? They had basically high test. Well, if you're in a bad situation, you can run any of these grades of gasoline in your car. The only thing it's going to do is the computer is going to go, okay, I got way more octane. I'll just retard the spark a little bit more, let it burn a little hotter. Or I'll increase the spark to make it burn a little hotter. It can jigger these things. So basically the car's not knocking. And potentially the only thing that's really happening is you're just burning a really expensive tank of gas. So all that stuff can work, even though you're running the wrong octane. In a situation like that, you're thinking full tank of gas, get the hell out of Dodge. Things are really, really bad where I'm at. Or I just need to do things. So I basically got her, 5 gallons of, the high test gasoline, a couple bucks more, obviously, brought it back, got her going, kept her going, basically cleaned all the neighbors' yards and all, their driveways and everything. Life was good. But that is just one occurrence that is a minor annoyance, but it wasn't that big a deal for me because I always try to keep my car at least half full. Always. Potentially, I try to keep it more than half full. Reason being is every time before I do a shift, quote unquote, a shift doing Uber, I only have to fill up half a tank. I don't have to fill up like a full tank. Obviously, you start talking like a full tank of gas. Like I literally ran the entire tank out getting back from, vacation area. And it was a full tank of gas. It was like 60 some odd bucks. I mean, that was a lot of fuel for that car. It was a lot of fuel. Typically my fill ups are like $30 or less. So that was a little bit owie. But, I can have those days where I drive a lot more and I put on a lot more mileage. But that was just one of those occasions where I literally ran the tank out on purpose. Patriot Fever, man, that's what siphon pumps are for. Well, Patriot Fever, I got bad news for you. Most of your modern cars are built nowadays. You can't even get a hose down the filler into the tank. Most of the time you look at the tanks are actually built with what looks like an old World War II style bullseye, which is basically like intersecting lines with circular, don't go throughs, mostly because they're trying to keep people from sticking stuff down the gas tank. So when you come time to like actually need to empty the gas tank on a modern vehicle, you're either dropping the tank or you're running the fuel pump. But if you got contaminated gas, the last thing you want to do is work the fuel pump on contaminated gas, because most modern fuel pumps do not like that at all. Excuse me 1 second here. Martina Sasquatch, no, it's not vapor recapture. You're talking about the carbon filter that's underneath the hood of the car. I'm actually talking about the actual filler into the tank itself. The neck coming up that intersects with the rubber hose or the pipe or whatever it is that comes off the gas filler into the tank itself. If you look down there, there's what looks like a World War II style like sighting apparatus. It's basically like it's either like a grid or it's lines with circles to keep you from running anything past it to get into the fuel. Yeah, Zach's actually got a good point too. You can't even run a car low on fuel anymore, or the pump overheats. Yeah, I've cooked a fuel pump in my old Accord once. I've never done it in my Nissan, the Datsun that I had, and I don't think I've ever done it in a Honda, except for the one Accord. That was old school. That was carbureted, so it was like it was weird. It was like an electric diaphragm pump, and then when it ran dry, it literally went ding 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 and broke the diaphragm. Um, um, the trick I've heard nowadays is when kids are basically stealing gas from cars, they literally go over to the car, slide a pan underneath, take out a drill, and go "Whew," and punch a hole in the tank and suck that thing dry, and then take that pan out and dump the pan's goodies into their car. Case in point, I've heard a lot of cop cars have had that problem. Like people going underneath and popping a hole and sucking the tank out because hey, the city's always going to have a tank of gas in a cop car. So that's what's going on with that one. But anyway, in terms of survival situation type stuff, you just really truly got to think ahead. I mean, case in point, I mean, I tend to think along the lines of like using my phone almost like a mini laptop. Let me drop my light level here because I know it over flashes big time. But on board, I have a compass app. So the dirty little secret is even when the internet physically goes down, the phone towers physically will work for a few days, potentially up to a week, because all the phone towers have the FEMA infrastructure built into them. They all have diesel generators with their own fuel supply, and they'll run for a while. So potentially you could use the location function of your smartphone with a compass app. So literally, you can figure out where you're going. Is it perfectly accurate? Not the best, but you know what? Having something like that is better than not having that. Pedro Rivera says something about thinking about getting set up to make my own diesel, make your own biodiesel. Well, the dirty little secret is so many people have been doing that over the years that now they're starting to lock the waste veg containers in the back of the places. Now, the funny thing about it is I remember years ago when I was driving for my Mrs. Dude's cousin, I was driving a street sweeper, and I went behind the shopping center. I'm doing my cleanup and everything, and I go behind there, and there is a Dodge / Mercedes Sprinter van, and it's got the side door open, and dude's got like 55-gallon drums, and he's basically just sucking out all the waste veg. And I was like, you got clearance from these guys, right? And he's like, oh yeah, we're cool. You notice there's no stickers on the box here, so it's not like they have like a removal service. So I'm doing their waste removal. I take it home, I cook it, and I make my own waste diesel. I was like, all right, cool, whatever. I don't care, man. It's not like I'm going to chase you down for stealing waste veg oil. I got bigger fish to fry than that one. It's like, just please don't make a mess, okay? That's my only main concern is don't dump like veg oil everywhere when you're done. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, sure, no problem. I was like, so when you got down to the process, how much is it per gallon? He goes, oh, with my materials, time, effort, and everything else, he goes, I got to figure it out. It's like 60 or 70 cents a gallon. And I was like, wow, that's really cool. He goes, yeah, but, you got to remember that, then you have the glycerin. You got to do something with the glycerin. I was like, do you sell it off to the makeup companies? The guy goes, oh, yeah, that's the phrase that costs quite a lot. So he literally has the dirt. Okay, I got to get technical here for a second. If you go to waste veg oil, what it is technically is obviously it is an amalgam of what you want and what you don't want. So basically, if you look at the molecule, it's three fingers. You got your triglycerides, you got your lipids, and you have your glycerin. The triglycerides and the lipids are what you really, really want. You do not want the glycerin. The glycerin just gets in the way. That's what makes it cake up and be nasty and disgusting, and it doesn't burn really good. It's really sooty. That's the stuff you got to get rid of. So you have to put it through a process, and you have to break that third leg off the molecule and get it to be separate. There's a couple ways to do this. Number one is heat and chemical interaction. You would use methanol and you would use lye. The secondary way you would do it is you would use a centrifuge. The centrifuge literally breaks the molecules and splits it off. But also in the process of using a centrifuge, you're also getting all the crap out of there. So you don't need to have like a series of all these filters pulling all the crap out. You literally spin it up All that crap gets thrown out to the sides. The clean stuff goes down through the middle. Then you take that, you do the chemical processing on it, and you lose a step of having to go filter after filter after filter after filter. Because there is technically guys that do actually burn just straight waste veg, but what they'll do is they'll make something called black diesel. They'll use either veg oil or they'll use waste veg oil, and they'll either add some diesel to it or they'll add some motor oil to it. Now, the classic trick with the motor oil is if you run black diesel and you run waste veg with it, it only works in certain temperature ranges. So you really need to be very, very careful, or you need to have a setup where you basically start the truck, turn off the truck or car or whatever it is that you're running on. You start with diesel, you end with diesel. And what happens is in the process of running the diesel engine, you have a heat exchanger in the waste veg or the veg oil tank that then warms up the fuel. So it's not like slop trying to get pumped through this like butter. It literally makes it liquid. I think you got to get it up to about 130, 140 degrees and it flows smoothly. Once you get to that point, you then take the diesel, you switch it to the waste veg or the waste veg oil or, the home brew, biodiesel that you've made, and you burn that. And then when you're done, you switch back. And like the last, I think I heard the guy say it was like, 5 miles away from home, I'll switch it off and I'll just let it run with just straight diesel. And then I'll turn it off. And then when I turn it back on, I'll run it for about like 15, 20 minutes and I'll check, basically walk up, thump the tank, see what it sounds like, or have a temperature gauge set up that you can go, oh, okay, the tank temperature now is X and it's safe to switch over. So yeah, that's technically what you got going on with that one. And the dirty little secret is if you do your research, there's a reason why diesels run so good on vegetable and alternative fuels. It's because Otto Diesel, when he designed the diesel engine, he designed it to run on vegetable oil, not petrochemicals. Patriot Fever, that's what 10,000 bushels of bins of soybeans are for. Oh, yeah, soybean oil will run just fine. Yeah. Patriot Fever, the biggest thing I can say that's really a problem with making your own biodiesel or waste veg or any of that stuff, it's just messy. It's just really, really messy. Like you better have like a spare pair of boots and you're going to go walking in there and every single surface in that room is just going to be encrusted, gross, nasty, greasy, sloppy, disgusting, abattoir kind of disgusting yuck. But that's the thing that's kind of cool about it is, waste veg and biodiesel, black diesel, all that stuff, they're good alternatives. And if you think about them, if you really, really have the appropriate vehicle, they're fuel extenders. Druthers. You cannot do it on a modern diesel engine that has soot traps, DEF, or the hardcore EGR setups. It will not do well with biodiesel or waste veg at all. And you will find most times, if you look in the owner's manual, it says, do not put this stuff in our stuff, or it will go bang. And if you do, you've just voided your warranty and you're going to get more than a little bit of, how do you say it without saying it? You might just get, no, you're not going to get dookie. You're going to get, yeah, that's what you're going to get. Because you start dumping that stuff in the wrong vehicle, you're tooling down the roadway going, this is so great.
Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Uh-oh, I think my truck is, because it just now suffered.
Death! By snoo-snoo!
It did not get death by snoo-snoo, sound guy. No, you do not get a ding off of that one, okay? It did not get death by snoo-snoo, okay? It got
death! By...
Yeah, then that's what it got. You're being annoying, okay? Zach says the garbage trucks in the old town used to smell like French fries and recycling oil. Oh yeah, from what I understand, the last thing that was cooked in the oil in grand, quantities is what the oil actually smells like. So you could potentially have the diesel exhaust smelling like French fries or catfish or whatever it was. Patriot Fever gives me an idea what to do with the black Suburban with fed pizza. They're not diesels, dude. They're gas. Scroll. This one I think is exceedingly interesting, and this is an attached story to a second story. So stand by on this one. This one is very, very intriguing. Of all people, Tucker Carlson has scored himself an interview with Vladimir Putin. How he managed to get this to have happen, I have no freaking clue. But I'm watching, okay? I've said that expressly in that Facebook post I made. I am watching. So Tucker Carlson's making a case to the Kremlin. He should be granted an exclusive interview with Russian President Vladimir Putin, according to the state-run media source. Russia Today, the pro-Putin network, reported Monday that Carlson was strongly requested by Putin to sit with him and tell American audiences his side of the nation's ongoing war with Ukraine, his feelings for President Joe Kaka, and the relationship with former President Donald Trump. Oh, this should be very, very interesting. From RT, or Russia Today. Quote, Carlson is strongly requesting an interview with Vladimir Putin, Simon Yan said on a talk show aired by Russia One TV channel. It would be great if someone listens and notifies the president about this. Carlson's not commented on the matter. Putin really gives one-on-one interviews to foreign media. His last lengthy conversation was with Western journalism, with an interview with CNBC anchor Hadley Gamble on the sidelines of Russia Energy Week Forum in Moscow in October 2021. In a previous interview, Carlson claimed that the NSA intervened to prevent him from conducting a pre-invasion interview with Putin. He described the encounter with the informant and tipped him off. Quote, how would you know that? Because the NSA pulled your text with this other person you were texting. And so immediately I was intimidated. I'm not embarrassed to admit, but I was completely freaked out by it. I called a U.S. senator. Congress asked the NSA, and the NSA said, yes, we did this, but for good reason. What would be a good reason, he asked. So, yeah. So there's also more to this story. Putin's not spoken to Western media outlets about his decision to launch an invasion of Ukraine more than a year ago, which has sparked the international condemnation and billions of dollars in aid to Ukraine from the United States. Carlson and other conservative public figures criticize the price tag of the war. Should he decide to participate, Putin would likely benefit from media exposure. They'll likely be greater than he could ever expect by sitting down with a cable TV network. Last year's interview with Carlson and Trump on X garnered millions more viewers than Fox News' GOP debate. Well, yeah, who watches Fox anymore? I call him Fox Faux News, or Fox Faux Fake News for a reason. Have you guys heard about this one? I got a little bit of a palate cleanser here. PJ's newsletter, the official cause of the Maui disaster revealed. It is not a energy charged weapon where everything blue is not burned up. No. What was it really? Hawaiian officials attribute the cause of the catastrophic wildfires to alleged failures from the state's main power utility company and down power lines this week after Democrats blamed the disaster on global warming. In a lawsuit filed Thursday, the government of Maui County, Hawaii, alleged Hawaiian Electric Company, HECO, and its subsidiaries failed to properly power down live electrical equipment amid a red flag windstorm earlier this month. Due to the failure, down power lines operated by the utility company sparked a series of deadly fires on the island, the lawsuit claimed. So it wasn't a directed energy weapon, okay? It was high winds, throwing these lines around, making sparks, and cooking things off. Disgusting. Put out something about Trump again. National Archives has about 5,400 emails, records linked to Biden's email aliases. Oops. Going into the other thing about Tucker Carlson, and this is very, very interesting. Busted. This one coming in PatriotAlerts.com. Tucker Carlson calls out the NSA for hacking into his phone. Tucker Carlson told a pair of interviewers in March the National Security Agency, the nation's most clandestine intelligence bureau, obtained messages he sent using Signal. A clip of Carlson's commentary is now going viral. Knowing that NSA could tap Signal was frictionally used by journalists to send encrypted messages was unsettling enough for Carlson, he said on the podcast. But what really, quote unquote, freaked him out was he's learning he's the target of the agency's surveillance over his upcoming plans to visit Russia. Quote, the NSA broke into my Signal account. I got a call from somebody in Washington. This person said, are you going to come to Washington anytime soon? Yeah, actually. I'm going to be up in a week. Meet me Sunday morning. So I go, and this person is like, are you planning a trip to go see Putin? And I was like, how would you know that? I haven't told anybody, and I mean anybody, not my brother, not my wife, nobody. How would you know that? He said, quote, because the NSA pulled your text with the person you were texting, he was told. Yeah. So, secure stuff that you have, there's a back door. There's always a back door. The government gets the back door. They get the quote-unquote half the key. Yeah. On this one, I got to jump subjects yet again because we're going to be talking about... No. Sound guy. No, you don't get a ding on that one, okay? Not at all. No. You don't get a no. No.
Hell no. No. I refuse. No.
Exactly. No. You don't get one for that one. Sorry. Nice try. No. But we're going to be talking about again. This one is very, very simple to say. Go home, go to jail, but you sure don't want it for a second term. 77% polled people say Biden is too old for a second term, including 69% of Democrats. TruthPress.com, a new Associated Press NORC Center for Public Affairs Research survey found that Republicans and Democrats are in agreement over one belief about President Biden. He's far too old to be an effective leader in a second term. So that's what 77% of respondents said regarding the 80-year-old commander-in-chief, a belief 89% of Republicans and 69% of Democrats shared. And while former President Trump is only a few years younger, voters are less concerned about his age. Yeah, because he's virile and, the dude is in, really there type status. He's there, okay? He's not like, here. 51% of U.S. adults said the GOP presidential candidate is too old to effectively serve a four-year presidential term, while Democrats unsurprisingly outweighed Republicans in that belief, 71% to 28% respectively. It's back and forth type of stupid stuff. Most people think he's too blanking old. This one, I think, is absolutely hilarious. How could you basically state this one for what it is? But it's good stuff. Let me just find the background music that I'm currently looking for. Hang on a second here. I might not be able to find it in time. I don't want to keep searching. Here we go. After Democrat city ranks #1 in crime, major chain tries one extreme measure to keep thugs away. This one coming in from PatriotJournal.com. From the Daily Wire, to deal with vagrancy issues and petty crime, Walgreens stores in Memphis have installed speakers to loudly play classical music in the parking lot. Memphis has consistently ranked as one of the most dangerous cities in America and has seen property and violent crime increase in the last year. Its murder rate is in the top 10 worst in the U.S. So, potentially, snooty music from the 1600s gets rid of dirt bags from the inner city causing mayhem and problems and thugs and all the rest of that, human debris. I think it's actually kind of funny. And it does work. I mean, I've been to places before where they actually had that stuff playing, and the homies were just like, "Oh hell no!" They would throw the gas in their car as fast as possible, and they were out of there. Patriot Fever. So, how is Eurasia? Eurasia? I wasn't in Eurasia. Oh, Little Pimp Juice and Friends. Little Pimp Juice and Friends. This one I find very interesting, and potentially it needs to have happen. I am not impressed with this man whatsoever, and the sword of Damocles is hanging over his head by a thread. So, McCarthy, you and your rhino butt attitude could be getting your walking shoes ready. People want to get stuff fixed, and this is coming in from Fox News. Representative Ronnie Jackson, Republican from Texas, warned that Speaker Kevin McCarthy, Republican California, could lose his gavel if he does not take demands from the right-wing flank of his House majority seriously as Congress faces a showdown over the next year's government spending priorities. Quote, "But I'm telling you, if that happens, it's going to be detrimental to leadership of the House that will blow off the concerns of people like myself and the Freedom Caucus and some of the other people on the right that have been making reasonable demands in this process. It's going to be a problem." I haven't liked this guy since, time and eternal, but yeah. Let me jump subjects again here real quick. I'm going to simply say, act like a blanking leftard, get a new job like a blanking leftard. A teacher in Georgia decided it was acceptable to teach gender concepts to fifth grade students in her math class. Instead of addition and multiplication and binary equations, she took it upon herself to teach the students about moving beyond the gender binary. That lesson plan didn't matter for publics and school officials objected to her choice of topics from outside the math class. They questioned the judgment of 10-year veteran teacher Katie Rinderly and began tribunal proceedings to see if she'd acted appropriately. The tribunal's determination of quote-unquote appropriate didn't compute with parents and the majority of the school board who had the final say. The controversy started in March after a parent reportedly complained about the teacher reading a book, quote, "My shadow is purple," end quote, to her students. Rinderly was removed from her class as the investigation proceeded. Parents and administrators didn't agree with the conduct in the classroom. One parent told 11 Alive, quote, "I don't want the teachers indoctrinating them. I don't want the teachers indoctrinating them. I want the parents to be parents and the teachers to teach. That's it." Ultimately, the school board officials at Cobb County, Georgia, last week voted 4-3 to fire Rinderly, despite left-leaning outlets claiming the book she read was, quote, "heartwarming and inspiring," end quote. The website Book Reviews by a conservative teacher had another opinion. Bye-bye. This one I find very, very interesting. Our dancing Manchurian former candidate president, Barack Hussein Obama, the former chef, he was on a paddleboard. He wasn't wearing a life vest. And it's come out now, the medical examiner has ruled in his death. So he wasn't wearing a life vest, decided not to hang on to his paddleboard or ask for help, and slipped under, drowned, and was found in 8 feet of water. Sounds legit. No. I'm going to be a little bit snarky on this one, so those of you who are offended by talking about body parts might want to plug your ears. But from now on, you must own a vagina as original equipment to compete. The International Powerlifting Federation has changed its policy seemingly in response to the outrage generated by male-dominating female competitions, breaking records along the way. Male competitor Ann Andrews, 40, recently defeated all female competitors in the Canadian Powerlifting Union's 2023 Western Canadian Championship by lifting a combined score of 1,317 pounds, beating the second-place finisher by more than 450 pounds. I'm sorry, I don't see too many females that can basically deadlift like that. Dude obviously is a dude and not a girl. Nice try. You're banned. Ain't happening. If you don't own a cooter, you ain't going to be there. If you got an outie instead of an innie, you ain't going to do it. I don't know if you guys heard about this one or not, but I got two more about caca. This one is just ridiculous. He cares, kinda. Well, no, when he's awake, okay? So Joe Kaka appears to briefly fall asleep during a meeting with the Maui survivors. So supposedly he was struggling with jet lag during his visit to Maui after devastating wildfires ravaged the Hawaiian Islands. Biden was listening to a speaker at a dinner after a meeting with survivors of the wildfires. When he appeared to shut his eyes, it's unclear whether he was bowing his head to pray or listen, or if he simply fell asleep. He fell asleep. So the country grieves with you, stands with you, will do everything possible to help you recover. I got another attached story to this one, but he's so compassionate. So President Compassionate further decided he was going to throw his own stuff into the fray, and he's really embellished stories before where, the fire department said, yeah, that kitchen fire that he had was not like the raising conflagration that he tried to put it out to be in his own private home. But so basically this is what he said to people who have pretty much lost everything and dead family members. He's at it yet again. President Compassionate, quote, I don't want to compare difficulties, but we have a little sense, Joe and I, what it's like to lose a home. It was a Sunday, and lightning struck at home on a little lake. And to make a long story short, I almost lost my wife, my '67 Corvette, and my cat. This story was debunked by the fire department. It said Biden, quote unquote, embellished what happened. A Christian charity account was canceled, defunded, and closed by the Bank of America. The Memphis-based nonprofit Indigenous Advanced Ministries has filed a complaint to the Tennessee Attorney General's office over concerns that its accounts were closed because the bank disagrees with its religious views. The organization, which claims to have a banking relationship with Bank of America since 2015, supports pro-life and anti-same-sex relationships values on its website. BOA firmly denies and debanked the body over these views, telling Daily Mail that the religious beliefs are not a factor in any account closing decision. But campaigners are calling for greater transparency on how firms decide accounts to shut down, and cases of political and religious debanking appear to be on the rise. Yeah. So basically, these guys they're conservative, but they got shut down. Speaking of people that really truly have like problems with things that are kind of just not that big a deal, slack-jawed whiners bemoan the fact that a gay man was speaking of women with badonks. This in from Fox News. Legendary rock band Queen, their 1978 classic Fat Bottom Girls, has become the cancel culture's latest victim after the song was dropped from the band's newest hits collection for younger listeners that debuted on the audio platform YoTo. It's not my favorite song of theirs, but it's a song that you've heard a bazillion times. I mean, it's really, truly not that bloody damn offensive. Come on, stop. Patriot Fever. So we're ignoring the other bodily injuries on the back of the head of back of the head of the chef and the broken neck. Yeah. It happened when he fell off the paddleboard. He actually shot himself in the back of the head and broke his neck. Wow. Biden administration urged all Americans get the coronavirus booster shot. No. Joe Kaka, we are not. No, we're not. No, we're not doing that. Not. Sound guy, stop. We're not doing that. Anyway, I can tell you for a fact, I have not had any of the shots. I'm not getting the booster shot. You're not sticking that crud in my body. And
Whoa! It's spicy!
Anyway, so yeah, you're not sticking that stuff in my body personally, and you can go step off. So coming on about the time, was it 10:15 now? Yeah, 10:15. All right, so I'm going to break up with this one, folks. Do appreciate your kind attentions, good stuff like that there. And hey, got 2 inch. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I know you got many other places to go on a Tuesday, but decided to hang out with me. You get a gold star for attendance. I truly appreciate your kind attentions. This will be uploaded. Well, it'll be up. So you can watch it at your leisure. Good stuff like that there. Hopefully the sound quality is better than the last time around. And sound guy. You can't stop him from being sound guy. He's sound guy, okay? So I'm going to break with this one, folks. Equally kept as always, you know it. You love it. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I'll catch you guys next week. Good stuff like that there. And I will see you then. Catch you guys later. Have a good one. See you guys.